worked on Anthem of the Seas.
Seal
So
or Joff?
probably. I
Joff,
was over there
Joff
for four, 5 months. Yeah, but no, I did 2.5 years. So I sort of, I guess, for me, I'd never been on a cruise ship, and I did my PT qualification. Went down to YMCA in Watford, where Steiners sort of do the training. Did all my medical. Within 3 weeks, I was packing my bags, flying out to Vancouver.
Yeah,
And then I can remember looking at the Nordam. I mean, obviously that's not like big in comparison to some of the Royal Caribbean ships, but
yeah,
I sort of like stood in the terminal at Vancouver. I was like, oh my days, this is my life for 9 months.
yeah.
Um,
Scary.
but what the best thing was that, yeah, it was. What the best thing was though is nobody knew my background.
So it's new. It's a new Luke. It's a new Luke, the Beast all.
So
No
that was the new
failures,
thing,
no
yeah.
stories. Yeah.
Yeah, so nobody knew that I played football. Nobody knew that I'd had this professional background. It was sort of like my chance to reinvent myself, I guess, and find a new Luke. And it was honestly and I went over to New Zealand, and even when I went over to New Zealand, Australia, I had an opportunity to sign a contract for a semi-pro team in New Zealand, and I almost took it. They put an article up about me. I almost left and got off in Auckland. About 4 months into my contract, so I was struggling. I was struggling with the ship life, isolated in a cabin, sharing with
White look.
somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, I felt sort of I wasn't doing very well with the sales, with the products, and I was struggling because I felt like, oh God, I'm a bit of a baby face. People didn't believe me and trust me and stuff like that. All these inner voices sort of like knocking
Yeah.
yourself down again. But yeah, I sort of turned it around in the last couple of months. Went over to Alaska, and yeah, I ended up doing it for a couple of years. And it was in terms of like building up my business skills, sales, marketing, but without being all social media, sort of like getting out and talking to people and having conversations. It was yeah, it was the best thing ever. Really changed my life.
People don't underestimate the power of what you can do in six months. So our contracts on cruise ships were 6 months because I
Right,
was
that's still long.
it is, yeah. So I did crew staff, activities manager, cruise director. And me and my wife turned up on the same day because my wife worked in the shops, and we got to the Navigator of the Seas, which was just a little bit smaller than the Independence. So we're in Miami. We flew to Miami. Luckily, we flew together, and we just looked up at this ship, and we were like, "Oh, what have we done?" So the first 3 days of being on a ship, my wife was like, "I'm getting off. I'm getting off. This is horrible. Claustrophobic." She was struggling with the motion of the ocean. And she was like, I'm getting off, I'm getting off. I'm like, look, we just need to give it 6 months. We just need to give it 6 months. We'll never do it again. 13 years we stayed on cruise ships, 13 years after we got over it. But for anyone going into it,
Wow.
absolutely